So if you thought the Knicks were just going to waltz into Game 2, take a 2-0 series lead over the Pistons, you can think again. Cade had some other ideas in this one, picking it up in the first half here, Chiney.
Yeah, when you're knocking down transition threes, you know it's going to be a long night if you're a defender.
And then Cade Cunningham once again.
Ooh, splits, float game, tough contest.
And this is how the Detroit Pistons would finish there the first half. But then here, Karl-Anthony Towns
The
can't
move of the
control
night.
it.
The move of the night. Silky smooth. Smooth criminal.
Cade Cunningham down to the other head.
Pointing at Carmelo, who was getting interviewed, like that's the thing you dream of, scoring a basket in the garden, pointing at your idol.
But this looked almost like it was going to be a sequel of Game 1 here entering the fourth quarter, because in Game 1, the Pistons led by 8. In Game 2, they also led by 8. And Bobby Marks, they struggled a little bit offensively to begin this quarter.
Yeah, but this was a trend. We saw a lot of ISO Jalen Brunson last night for the worst, and certainly he got him back in the game, but I think there was a missing person out on Karl-Anthony Towns last night.
Brunson had 37 points, but yeah, Karl-Anthony Towns' usage rate 0 in the fourth quarter. That's really difficult
I don't know how that's
to happen
possible.
here. Mr. Spears, Jalen Duren throws it down for the alley-oop. The Pistons up by 4 here.
Yeah,
but then here come the Knicks.
Let's give Trajan Langdon some respect.
Ooh, nice pass there to Josh
He's done a
Hart.
great job getting a mix of veterans to help all this youth.
But the excitement there in the garden, the game tied at 94, 1 minute left here. Dennis Schroeder, he was struggling to knock down these shots in Game 1, Mr. Spears, but he's getting it going here.
Nice pickup from Golden State. I'm sure he doesn't. He was mad at first. I think he's happy now.
Under 20 seconds to go here. Jalen Brunson slicing, dicing, kicking it back out. This is a good look from Mikal Bridges.
Detroit.
But it's short. The Pistons get the win here in Game 2. Here's Cade Cunningham wanting to put Detroit back on the map.
It's a great feeling, man. It feels good to represent the city like we did tonight. Something that the city's been waiting on for a long time. So, we feel good about it and we're ready to get back to the crib and perform in front of them.
Okay. So with the win here, the Pistons snapped the longest postseason losing streak in NBA history at 15 games, a streak that started 17 years ago, 6,175 days ago since the Detroit Pistons last won a playoff game. Fun fact, Chiney, do you happen to know who was on the other side of that one?
Who was?
Well, it was our good friend, Kendrick Perkins, who was playing in this game, Game 4 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Perk, he did foul out.
Oh,
he
good thing he's not here today.
10 points. He did have 6 boards in this game.
Solid.
He did get the last laugh, though, because the Celtics did go on to win the series in 6. And, of course, they also went on to win the title that year. But that's not it, right? Just how long was it ago that the Pistons last won a playoff game? Cade Cunningham. He was 6 years old. Lil Wayne's Lollipop. That was the top song. The iPhone, I didn't have one yet. It was under a year old. And LeBron was 249th on the all-time scoring list.
Yo, sis, the Pistons Twitter account wasn't even a thing yet. It took another 5 months, but let's bring it back to the modern day because Motorcade, look, 2008 October, it's wild. We didn't have Twitter. We didn't have X. But, if we're thinking about Motorcade, y'all, he was on cruise control.
Absolutely.
Versus the Knicks. Roll me my tape, producer Liv, baby. What they do, and this was a huge adjustment, set a lot of screens to 4 switches. I want you guys to see the commitment by his teammates to screen. Dennis Schroeder, this is the second time he goes. Brunson, he's going to reach because he's now showing because he doesn't want to be the matchup. Now you're too late. OG reaches now, and this is one of the toughest finishes I have seen. 2 players contesting, hang time, fade away, tough mid-range. More screens for y'all. Okay, this is a great offense. It's almost like L screens. You have a pin in that creates some confusion. There's a back screen. Now you come over, and this is the move that had me out of my chair last night. Spin in between the lane, creating plenty of space. Now you have a dilemma, 2 players low. You can't really guard him. He hits another mid-range. Because he was cooking, he had 33 points. Now he's allowed to create for others. This is the best. You'll see the numbers in a second. Alley-oop duo in the league. Now you're worried about Cade because he's scoring. Now that creates an opportunity for JD to finish at the rim. Cade is just the 3rd player in NBA history to go for at least 50 points, 15 rebounds, and 15 assists in his first 2 career playoff games. Joining who? Some legends, Luka Doncic and Oscar. Oh my goodness, cruise control in full effect.
And not only that, Chiney, the Pistons, they took home court advantage from the Knicks last night with this win. Mark, you've covered this team closely all season long. What was your biggest takeaway from this one after seeing those numbers from Chiney?
Well, first of all, I was at that game too. I don't want to see what my suit game was. I covered that game. I have
Back
a game
in
story to
2008?
prove it. Yeah, I was there. I was covering the Celtics at that time. I talked to J.B. Bickerstaff. He said that they did what they're supposed to do, that they're focused in the moment. Also talked to Schroeder. Said they were supposed to be up 2-0 right now. He felt like they should have won game one. This team's not scared of the Knicks. And I'll tell you what, Bobby knows it's not Auburn Hills. It's downtown Detroit now. It's going to be the first, I think, playoff game in the Pizza House, whatever they call it. Detroit playoff basketball games are special. They're different. And Schroeder told me it's going to be louder than it was in the Garden. I expect them to have a presence. I expect them to lift this team up. And for them to go home split, that's huge for these young Pistons.
I just think it's one of the great stories that we've seen in a long time. This team was a laughingstock last year. The losing streak, we all laughed at them. And it's a lesson for the 14 teams that are at home right now that aren't playing. You could do it. You could build a roster. Trajan Langdon, Malik Beasley, Tobias Harris, Tim Hardaway Jr., drafted Ron Holland, certainly a healthy Cade Cunningham. If you put the right pieces around your franchise player, you can be in the 6th seed. There's nothing wrong with being 6th in the Eastern Conference. I hear all these GMs saying, well, we don't want to be stuck in 6 or 7 here. We want to be in it. Well, you got to get there somehow, and certainly Detroit has been able to do this.
This is a tough team. They're the reincarnation, as we've said many times, of those bad boys Pistons that we've talked about. And that's why Knicks fans, they were a little bit nervous coming into the series. They knew that this was going to be a physical and also really talented team that they were going up against. But that's not what Tibbs was talking about after yesterday's game. Let's get to the Knicks side of all of this and take a listen together. Because Tibbs, he wasn't thrilled with the way his team was officiated. Here's what he had to say.
Huge discrepancy in free throws. Huge. So I got to take a look at that. Right? So, I don't understand, how on one side, that, you talk about direct line drives, the guy's getting fouled and it's not being called, right? So, and look, I really don't give a crap how they call the game as long as it's consistent on both sides. So if Cunningham's driving and there's marginal contact and he's getting to the line, then Jalen deserves to be getting to the line. It's really that simple.
Okay, 34 free throw attempts versus 19 for the New York Knicks. Brian, when you hear that from Tibbs, what does it tell you?
He's trying to divert attention there. I'm not saying that there wasn't a call or two that probably he had a point on. Jalen Brunson spent the whole second half of this game foul baiting. I mean, that was pretty much a core part of the Knicks' offensive strategy yesterday, and that's not the way that they're supposed to play. This team was built to be an offensive juggernaut, but they have regressed in this series so far. Game 1, Jalen Brunson, 27 shots. Game 2, Jalen Brunson, 27 shots. I know he's going to be the centerpiece of their offense, but that's not how they're built. Karl Towns, 11 shots. He's an all-NBA player because of his offense. He's got to be more involved, especially down the stretch. Same thing for OG Anunoby. OG Anunoby averaged 18 shots a game when Jalen Brunson is out. He had 10 on Sunday, or on Monday, or on Sunday. You can't let that happen. You've got to have more of a democratic process, regardless of the officiating. Blaming the officiating is a way to divert attention from the real problem, and it worked. All the coverage I saw after this game was focused on that Tom Thibodeau speech. There needs to be more coverage on the offensive letdown, which is what was the undercurrent for this Knicks loss when they had just 94 points.
Karl Anthony Towns and J.B. Bickerstaff game planned. He put Tobias Harris on him. He pushed him out on the perimeter. He made him an afterthought here. Whenever he was in the lane, they doubled him. They sent Jalen Duren at him also here. He took 3 shots in the second half. As you said, he had a 0% usage rate. He's got to be involved in this offense here for New York to have a chance in this series.
Yeah, Coach Tibbs, his comments were a pump fake. Like, he was faking. He was faking because everyone saw those numbers. That's quickly what was trending. 0 points in the last 19 minutes. Last basket attempt, I think shot attempt, came midway through the third. If you are Karl Anthony, I don't know who to throw the most blame to in that situation. When players, you see numbers like that, they are forgotten on the court. You have to demand the ball. I used to tell my teammates, hey, I'm going to post up and make everyone show you and see that you should be passing it to me. But also, they need to be put in positions to be successful. And down the stretch, it was a lot of Brunson dribbling and shooting and trying to, he's likely going to be the clutch player of the year. You believe in those types of situations, but Cat has to stay involved. He's the ultimate mismatch.
Yeah, absolutely. So do you think that then the momentum has shifted, Brian, in favor of the Pistons here?
Well, clearly it has. And I mean, what Spears talked about with Dennis Schroeder, that's not him being braggadocious, which we know Schroeder can be. It's a legitimate thing the Pistons can look at you and say, if we hadn't had an inexperienced-led fourth quarter of Game 1, this could be 2-0. The Knicks are not a perfect team. They are not as good defensively as they've been the last few years. Their way forward is to be awesome on offense. The fact that the Pistons were able to disrupt them this much over these first 2 games is concerning, and they need to get their all. I mean, I put Karl Towns on my All-NBA ballot last week. He's got to be an All-NBA player for them to win this series. There's no doubt about that.
One thing I like about the playoffs, we always get to see a new star, right? Cade Cunningham, he's arrived. Let's start paying attention to him. They're saying there's no American stars anymore. He's one. Big 33-point game in MSG. I know he's going to carry it over to Detroit, but now this is his coming out party for the world to see how great Cade is.
And now the series shifts back to Detroit with the Pistons stealing back home court advantage, at least for now.